Good evening, everyone, and welcome back. We had to stop last week because we had lots of things at Kuwait Television KTV2, but now we are back and stronger than ever to the program, and you are going to love this episode. It's all about education. You cannot guarantee the success of any nation if you did not secure the education of the post generation represented in the future for the students in the state of Kuwait and all in the state of Kuwait. Kuwait was ranked about 63rd on the Human Development Index report for 2011 by United Nations, placing Kuwait above the regional average. The education system, it's about 2,758 awards. And universities in the state of Kuwait, it's all about public authority for applied education and training college. Kuwait American University, right here in the state of Kuwait, it's all about the American of the Middle East. And it gained about 104 awards. And more schools in the state of Kuwait, it's such as a school in the Asian country of Kuwait. Tertiary schools are listed at the list of universities in Kuwait. Most schools in Kuwait are public schools which educated and gained about 789 awards. Here's a quick report, exactly what we're talking about right here at To The Point. Enjoy.
At the beginning of the 20th century, there were no formal educational system in place in Kuwait at all. There were a few Quranic schools funded by the wealthy private citizens of Kuwait that taught reading, writing, and basic arithmetic. In 1911, the Al-Barkiya School was established as one of Kuwait's modern educational institutions. It was funded by merchants to train their clerks in commerce, arithmetic, and letter writing skills. In 1921, the Al-Ahmadiyya School was established, which offered English courses, and soon thereafter an all-girls school was founded that provided education in Arabic, home economics, and Islamic studies. The government became involved in providing formal education in 1936, and by 1945, there were 17 schools in Kuwait. With the increase in oil production and hence state revenues after World War II, the government began investing huge sums of money into social services, including education. By 1960, there were 45,000 students enrolled in Kuwait's educational system, including 18,000 girls. In 1965, following the constitution that made education a fundamental right of a citizen, education was made compulsory for children aged between 6 and 14. Since the early 21st century, the Ministry of Education has sought to prepare a general long-term education strategy, focusing on educational teachings for the years up to 2025. This effort aims to align teaching methodologies with the current needs of an increasingly globalized world. The World Bank is conducting an analytical study to explore the various policy options needed to implement this new strategy. A national conference for the development of education was held in Kuwait in February 2008 in order to discuss this national strategy further. Other multilateral organizations, such as the OECD, are working towards improving the business environment in Kuwait and providing training for women to promote female entrepreneurship within the country. The state of Kuwait supports an educational policy that seeks to provide opportunity to all children, irrespective of their social class, including children with special needs.
We are going to kick off our program with a very distinguished guest. It's all about education. And she is Wafa Habib Hussein, Director of the Scholarship Department, and about 23 years of experience in the ministry, gradually promoted where she was started as a regular employee back in 1994. Then the head of the department, the same department we're talking about, in about 2001. Later, to supervise of the Western Scholarship in 2006. And finally, to the head of the Scholarship Department last year. And she participated in lots of events abroad and in the state of Kuwait, and especially conferences inside and outside Kuwait. Also participated in National Union of Kuwait Student Association Conference in United States, United Kingdom, and the Republic of Ireland. Good evening, and thank you so much for being with us in the program.
Good evening, Mr. Ahmed.
Thank you so much. When we're talking about education, we're talking about the rise of a nation. If you want to compete in the world, the competition is very stiff. Therefore, you have to fortify your situation when you put all the interest in education and things that goes along with it. Since you are here in the program and you are the director for the scholarship, the foreign scholarship outside of the state of Kuwait, that means that you have a huge burden on your shoulder. Now, how can you manage to contain this huge, enormous, lots of people, females and males, outside of the state of Kuwait pursuing the education to come back and lead the nation?
The Ministry of Higher Education, it is a small part of an educational integration system in Kuwait. The ministry represents just 5% from the educational opportunities to the students. You know that most of the students, they apply to Kuwait University, and most of them, they are admitted there. And most of them also, they go to the public authority for applied training and education. And the others are to the private universities in Kuwait. So we really represent a very small amount of those students.
That's wonderful. Now you can do whatever you want at home by logging in the internet. Back in the old days, you have to go to the university, to the education center, or probably the ministry itself to apply, so you can get the opportunity to pursue your education outside of the state of Kuwait. Now you can apply online. What exactly are you using as, make it more successful for people who do not have the chances to go and apply in person?
Well, thanks to the technology, we will say that. The Ministry of Higher Education launched an online service since 2002. And then a chain of internet online services became gradually until this day. And still we are developing our system, and we are seeking now a huge, let's say, project for an online archive for all our students' files. Even the continuing student and the graduated students and all other students, like, let's say, the private students. That was not available before 2002. The students comes to the university with a huge number, and the crowd, so this has changed totally.
Yeah, that's wonderful. Now, when you prepare somebody, let's take you or me, for instance, if you want to go to Europe to spend some time on a leisure time, like a tourism, on a vacation, you prepare yourself so you will be adapting everything that it happens to you in Europe. Now, these students are young, and they kind of going through a new experience to go outside the state of Kuwait and study some foreign countries. You have different traditions, different habits. Do you prepare them to be able to survive the foreign societies?
Yes, of course. The ministry prepare a plan for an orientation beginning from this month, February, until, let's say, end of April for governmental schools and private schools. We go there and we introduce ourselves, what we will do for you, what is the role of the Ministry of Higher Education, what services we offer you students, and there are cultural attaches there outside Kuwait, where you will study there either in USA or UK or other countries. They are at your service. So it's an easy and ongoing process for the students. It's very easy for them.
That's wonderful. That leads me to my next question regarding the same subject. After they graduate from the foreign societies, the Western society, they have gained some new habits, new traditions, and they are going to come back to the state of Kuwait and blend in once again after 4 or 5 years. I believe that they might have some difficulties coping and also coinciding their views with the status quo in the state of Kuwait, different ideas. Do you prepare them to absorb the shocks that it might have different, attitude, different behavior when they come back here?
Well, I don't think that they will be in that shock that you...
They're not?
No, they
Okay.
are not. They are not.
Because I know lots of friends, they are having some difficult times to adjust their habits in the Kuwait because they spend the last 4 years doing something else than in the state of Kuwait.
This is usual.
So he kept telling me, this is difficult to do it.
This is usual. This is usual. Yeah. I noticed that from rare students that once they came here, they are in a shock, a culture shock, let's say. Imagine that when you go there and begin your study in whatever country, it is the same for you. You will also be in a shock, a cultural shock. This is it's like a cycle.
Yes, exactly. These students, when they come back, do they know exactly the workshop in the state of Kuwait, what it needs right here? Because everybody might, choose some kind of major they want to pursue, like communications or probably economics. Do you think that the state of Kuwait can absorb every student in the workshop?
Well, let me tell you that the strategy of the scholarship plan, it is a 5-year plan. It began from 2014-15 and it will end until 2018 and 19. It is, as I said, a strategy and a coordination between the Kuwait Civil Service and the Manpower and Government Restructuring Program and the Cultural Attaché, that we study the Kuwaiti national demand, what Kuwait needs, majors and disciplines. So we offer that through these 3 sectors.
What about females? Because here in the Arabian society, they have kind of private citizens. Like when we say a female, it's different when you talk about a male. A male can go and come back anytime he wants, but a female in the Arabian Peninsula, right here in the state of Kuwait and the rest of the GCC, they have lots of question marks about female leaving their countries, pursuing higher education, or probably going to visit some other countries. Do you have the same, it's not do you have the same, do you have some restrictions regarding females when they want to go outside the state of Kuwait and pursue their higher education?
Well, I don't see the
restriction.
restriction. No,
there.
These days, in these years, this has disappeared. Totally disappeared. Nothing.
So a female can go outside the state of Kuwait and pursue higher education?
Exactly.
No questions asked? Nothing at all?
Nothing at all, and they are more smart than...
They're smarter than men?
than the boys.
Well, that's huge. Do you have some tests and statistics or not?
No statistics, but from my experience, I noticed that the girls are more smarter than the boys.
Hold this thought, because I have a very unique report regarding a co-founder of something really special in education, and I'll come back right here. Stay with us.
All right, so we're talking a little bit about knee and hip issues as we age. How problematic, though, are our knees and hips as we get into our golden years?
I mean, Arthritis is associated with aging, and we're seeing it more common now, especially in the younger population, and obesity. So it's definitely prevalent, especially in the United States. I'd say the numbers are almost 40% of patients who are above 55 years of age suffer from arthritis, whether it's hip arthritis or knee arthritis.
And these are problems that, I mean, not only could be painful, but this can really impact trying to live a healthy life and a well life as you get older, because you won't be able to move.
Correct. I mean, it's debilitating. Patients are not able to perform their activities of daily living. They're in pain with every step. And fortunately, we have a solution to this, which is a hip or knee joint replacement.
And there's a new approach to doing these. Tell us a little bit about that.
Correct. The traditional approaches require the surgeon to cut the muscles and tendons to perform a hip or knee replacement. Patients tend to have more pain and the recovery is much longer. With these newer techniques that we're introducing, patients have less pain and recover much quicker. Correct, because with these techniques, we spare the muscles and tendons as opposed to the traditional techniques. So, I mean, this is a patient day one, she's up and walking. This is a patient in the operating room table, already able to fully have full range of motion. With a traditional approach, it takes almost 6 weeks to 3 months. Minimal pain, and he's not even up yet. So this is all because of the muscle sparing technique that we use. This is another patient the morning after surgery. I mean,
wow.
You can't even tell which knee was done. He had a knee replacement and he's already walking like he walked before when he was younger. So I think with sparing the muscles and tendons has a huge impact on the outcomes, and patients are back to their active lifestyles much quicker. And this is the same patient, again, as we can see, he is achieving almost full range of motion, which with the traditional approach, as I mentioned, takes up to 6 weeks, and this is day one and he's already there.
So why is it with so how do you do this? I mean, how do you spare, you know, those muscles? And I guess the next question would be why haven't they done this since the beginning?
Well, I mean, obviously with a lot of training and studying, and these techniques have been recently invented. I trained at Rush University Medical Center, and we pioneered in the minimally invasive surgery, and those are the techniques that I'm bringing today. So they're more recent, and we've seen with studies that patients, as you can see from the videos, are in the hospital one day, if not the same day discharge, as opposed to the traditional approach where they're in the hospital for a few days and recover either using a cane or a walker up to 6 weeks or 3 months. I mean, as you can see with the videos that we showed, these patients are up on the same day of surgery, not requiring a cane or a walker.
You're still with us to the point at KTV2, and previously you were watching one of the pioneers in the state of Kuwait. His name was Dr. Mathanna Al-Saratawi, and he was talking to one of the network in the state of in the United States of America, one of the famous television over there, and he was talking about how you can walk after you lose or probably you have some kind of injuries to the knees, and it's all about joining knees and hips. For more of that, you can join us more and more right here on KTV2, and we will tell you more about that. But we have the same distinguished guest, and we were talking about sending students, females and males, from Kuwait, outside of Kuwait, to the world to pursue the higher education. And we were talking about males and females. Now let's talk about the cost that it might inflict to the budget to the state of Kuwait when you send most of our beloved students to gain more education outside. How much does it cost for students, whether it's a male or female?
Well, the government, thanks to the government, that she assigned a huge number of a budget for our students. Each year we dispatch 6,000 students for most all over the world to study abroad to get the bachelor degree. So you cannot imagine the cost of each student. It is a huge number.
Roughly, we're talking about per year, annually, talking about what, 15,000 KD or more?
Well, this is the tuition. The $60,000 $60,000. This is the tuition
The tuition only 60.
Yeah, the tuition of the
60.
school. Yeah, 60. Okay.
That's the tuition in dollars
Yeah.
per
exactly,
year.
Exactly.
This is not included health insurance.
This is not
something else.
This is not included health insurance. This is not included the monthly allowance. This is not included the yearly ticket allowance also. This is just the tuition of the schools or the universities.
That's wonderful. Now, I have a question of my own. It's not here. Okay. Now, some people, some students, they fail to finish the degree. They fail to capture some higher education. But before you leave the state of Kuwait, you have a contract with the education itself, the Minister of Education, that if you stay for 4 years, how long it takes, you will never be asked for money at all. It's for you. We spend the money on you to get the higher education. You can come back and enroll anywhere you want. But if you fail, what exactly we're talking about? We're talking about penalties. We're talking about punishment. Do I have to refund the state all the money that you have spent on me?